This is a little demonstration of the OpenADR style DRAS API, operator API I've been working on. The operator API, if you recall, is the API for sort of creating, modifying events, sort of in the world of OpenADR. And the observer API is the one we talked about before, and that's sort of like the read-only view into the DRAS system, what's going on. And we'll use both of them over the course of this demo. The first one is part of the Observer API, and that's just to get the list of available programs. Programs are a concept that comes from OpenADR. They sort of tie together what participants in the DRAS system sort of all work together on a given program. Here you can see the program has an identity of -9, and entities returned within all these results generally have an ID, and we use those IDs when you're making further calls in the system. Now, to create an event is associated with a given program. So I could just get a list of the available programs if I want. These are all the events created for this one program. Keep in mind all this data is just mock data that's sort of created at runtime by this mock implementation of all the API. But now I'm going to go in and create a new event for this program. When I create an event, I'm basically just sort of giving it a name and assigning the date I want the event to happen. An event needs a couple of other bits of information to be useful. The first is the set of targets, and this comes from the world of OpenADR. And an event can have any number of targets, and the target is basically a value that you want the participants in the event to sort of reach at some point during the event, and you specify that point with the event target. For example, you say if you want to shed a certain amount, let's say 10 megawatts, that would be passed in as an event target, and you would say I want to shed 10 megawatts like 1 hour after the event starts. So the first thing to do would be to assign some event targets for this event. I'll call another API to do that. What I've done in this one is I've assigned one target, and here the value of 10,000 represents 10 kilowatts. The type here you can see is load to shed, which means I want to shed 10 kilowatts overall, and the offset for this event is saying basically that says 0 seconds, which means shed 10 kilowatts right when the event starts, and this is a fairly typical use case, I think. Now the event now has a target. Go back and now the next thing that it needs is participants. So who should sort of be, who should execute this plan for the event? And participants in Solar Network are solar nodes, and you can assign individual nodes or a concept of groups of nodes, which participant groups also comes from OpenADR. You can get a list of all the nodes or participants in the system for a given program. Listed here, you can see I've got 5 different nodes available, and now I'm going to go in and assign 2 of them, the first 2, to this event that I've just created. So here I've assigned nodes -4, -5 to this event, you can see. But I could also assign a group if I want. First I can use this API to get a list of groups. I've got 2 groups available to me. Let's say I know I want to assign one of those groups. I'm going to assign a group as well to that event. Now I've got two individual participants and a group. And I can always come and get a list of exactly what the overall list of participants is for this event by calling a different method. This one will expand the groups into individual participants. You can see here I've got 4 participants. -4, -5 were the individual ones I assigned, and number 6, number 8 came from that group that I had assigned. So yeah, I think that's the majority of the API, at least for creating an event. And that's it for now.